Hello, my name is Nika McLaughlin, a Health and Safety Specialist with WorkSafe NB. Through this presentation, I will explain new provisions in the New Brunswick Occupational Health and Safety Act, administrative penalties. In this presentation, I will explain what are administrative penalties, where to find information on administrative penalties in the Occupational Health and Safety Act, what you can expect if you are issued an administrative penalty, payment of administrative penalties, and additional resources. An administrative penalty is a monetary penalty or fine that is issued by a WorkSafe NB Health and Safety Officer. They are the result of non-compliance to sections of the New Brunswick Occupational Health and Safety Act and regulations. Thus, administrative penalties are associated with an order from a health and safety officer. Anyone who has responsibilities under the Occupational Health and Safety Act, who can receive an order under the Occupational Health and Safety Act or its regulations, can be issued an administrative penalty. Thus, administrative penalties can be issued to employers, supervisors, contractors, subcontractors, contracting employers, suppliers, owners, and employees. The new provisions that explain administrative penalties are sections 36.1 to 36.6 in the Occupational Health and Safety Act. These new sections were enacted in September 2020. To find the Occupational Health and Safety Act and review these specific sections, go to our website at WorkSafe NB, click on Policy and Legal, then Acts and Regulations, and then Occupational Health and Safety Act. Just to show you exactly where you can find the Occupational Health and Safety Act on our website, here's our website, worksafenv.ca, and click Policy and Legal. A new page will open up. In the second box under Legal, click on Acts and Regulations. Another page will open up. Scroll down to Occupational Health and Safety Act. You can view in either PDF or HTML. Now that you have opened up the Occupational Health and Safety Act, you can simply scroll down to section 36.1, where the sections on administrative penalties begin. Section 36.3 subsections 1, 2, and 3 of the Occupational Health and Safety Act specify the amount of the administrative penalties for the different workplace parties. Employers, contractors, subcontractors, contracting employers, suppliers will be issued an administrative penalty of $500 for the first administrative penalty within 3 years, $1,000 for the second, and $2,000 for the third administrative penalty. Supervisors and owners will be issued $250 for the first administrative penalty within 3 years, $500 for the second, and $1,000 for the third. Employees will be issued $100 for the first administrative penalty within 3 years, $200 for the second, and $500 for the third. As mentioned before, administrative penalties must be attached to an order. However, not all orders will result in an administrative penalty. WorkSafe NB has identified specific instances where an administrative penalty applies. Firstly, in specific high-risk situations. In this first image, we see someone working in a trench. It would be high risk to work in a trench without protection. Working at heights without fall protection, not locking out a machine when conducting its maintenance, working with a chainsaw without proper personal protective equipment, as well as working with materials containing asbestos without a code of practice are all considered high-risk situations where administrative penalties apply. Administrative penalties will also apply to repeat violations for the same order within 2 years. Here, we can see the same picture is repeated 3 times. Perhaps the driver of the forklift is not wearing a seatbelt. And administrative penalties will apply to specific health and safety initiatives, such as not having an operational plan during the pandemic. The sections of the Occupational Health and Safety Act or regulations where we may apply administrative penalties may change as we gain experience. We may add sections and omit other sections. If an officer writes an order on one of the sections where an administrative penalty applies, the health and safety officer will notify you that you may receive an administrative penalty. If it does become an administrative penalty, you will receive a package through the mail. This package will include the notice of administrative penalty, copy of the inspection report, and a payment return form. You should receive this within 28 days of the order being written. We will look at each of these documents in more detail. Here is an example of a fictitious notice of administrative penalty. The notice of administrative penalty is just one page, but I divided it into 2 slides to make it easier to read. The name of the document is at the top, Notice of an Administrative Penalty. The administrative penalty number is at the top right of the document. We also have the date that it was issued, the amount of the administrative penalty, the inspection report and order number that it relates to, the legislation that it refers to, as well as how to pay for the administrative penalty. We can see that it is by check or by internet banking. Toward the bottom of the notice, it explains the consequences of not paying the administrative penalty, as well as how to appeal the administrative penalty. At the very bottom, you can see the name and signature of the health and safety officer who issued the administrative penalty. This is an example of a fictitious inspection report. At the top of the report, we have the name of the company, the address, the names of the employer and employee representatives who accompanied the officer. The next section is information on the violation, a description of the infraction, what needs to be done to be in compliance with the Occupational Health and Safety Act or regulations, along with the section of the legislation where there is a violation. At the bottom of the inspection report, it states the name of the person the report was given to, their title, the officer's name. In this case, it is blank, but normally there would be a signature and the date and time that the order was written. Within the administrative penalty package, the client will receive an administrative penalty return form. When paying by check, they will include this return form with payment. Here's an example of a fictitious payment return form. We see at the top right-hand side that there is the administrative penalty number. We also see the date that the administrative penalty was issued, to whom it was issued to, the inspection report and order numbers, and information about payment. Payment of an administrative penalty is due within 30 days of being served the package. As seen in the notice of an administrative penalty, the administrative penalty is payable by check to WorkSafe NB or through internet banking. Payment will go into the accident fund and will be used for health and safety initiatives. The workplace party receiving an administrative penalty may appeal in the same way a workplace party appeals orders. They must appeal within 14 days of being served. The Chief Compliance Officer may confirm, vary, suspend, or revoke the order or administrative penalty. If the workplace party is not satisfied with the Chief Compliance Officer's decision, they may appeal the Chief Compliance Officer's ruling to the Workers' Compensation Appeals Tribunal. To find out more information about appeals, go to our website, click on Policy and Legal, and then on OHS Appeals, Deviations, and Variances. A new page will open up, which provides a brief description on the topics. Click on Appeals page for more information on that topic. This page clearly explains the appeals process for OHS advice, orders, and administrative penalties. In order to present an appeal, click on Notice of Appeal form. The form will then open up. Follow the instructions on the form. Additional resources about administrative penalties can be found on our website. Click on Safety Topics, and Administrative Penalties is the first topic there. This is where you can find additional information on administrative penalties, including what sections of the legislation where administrative penalties apply. That completes the information that I had to share with you about administrative penalties. If you have further questions, please direct them to the Prevention Division at prevention@ws-ts.nb.ca.